You're on mute, Pete, if you're talking.
Oh, yeah, I was talking. I just realized it was on mute before you said that. Thanks. So welcome to the OpenJ9 community call for October 25th. If you haven't already, please add your name and company affiliation to the meeting so we can see who's regularly attending the call. If anyone has anything important they'd like to bring up, please speak up. I'm not going to really wait, but feel free to interrupt me. So I don't think we have any lightning talks scheduled for this week or in the future, although I do see feature testing in the list. If anyone has any lightning talks they'd like to give, please add them to the minutes or let somebody know to add to the minutes and we'll get that organized. Take a look at the end user issues. There have been a few in the last week, but as far as I know, they're all in progress. But unless somebody has something they want to bring up about the user-raised issues, I'll just proceed. So for the 035 release, the milestone plan has no issues remaining. We started release activities, we've done OpenJ9 builds, and everything looks good in the OpenJ9 builds. IBM is working on SEMRU builds and doing triage of those builds. So at the moment, we're waiting for IBM to give the all clear that SEMRU builds are ready to go before tagging OpenJ9 with the GA tag. Similar for AArch64 Mac, we're waiting for IBM to give the all clear that that platform is ready to come out of EA. The open source project has declared it's ready for product use to come out of early access. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the 035 release? So for the 036 release, I put in this tentative schedule. Tentative mostly because once we start getting into December, we start running into people's holiday time. So the plan is to branch on November 25th to start the M1 builds the following week on the Monday, the 28th. And then I put December 12th to start M2. And we'll see how that goes if people want to move that because of some vacation time. And then the GA date of OpenJDK would be the 17th, so we'd start the release activities after that. So we're going to include Java 8, 11, and 17, and ideally Java 19 in this release. Which brings us to the Java 19 status. I see the number of issues in the milestone plan has come down a lot from 64 to 28. Actually, I wasn't here last week, so I'm not sure if that 64 number was up to date. So it may have come down some last week and more this week. 28 issues. Guess we have the same schedule here for Java 19 as is recorded above for 036. I think we need it here too. Okay, Jack, can you take us through the status of Project Loom?
Yes, Pete. So for Project Loom, the GTReg suite have been triaged, and for Xint, everything passed on x64 Linux. We're seeing 2 or 3 intermittent failures on other platforms, which I am triaging. One of them is the null stack trace, and it's having a crash on Arch64. When the particular test is being run, there seemed to be an issue in the get stack trace impl where it was trying to dereference a null pointer at some stage. We're not exactly sure what exactly is causing putting in breakpoints and testing that. For XJIT, tests that have run with a extremely large stack are seeing a invalid JIT return address. I've been trying to go through some of the core dumps that was generated, but I didn't see anything that was incorrect in the stack trace when I was looking. So if I wasn't able to figure out anything by probably either end of today or early tomorrow, I will ask JIT team for help on triaging this issue. There is a PR open to unexclude all of the excluded tests that are related to Project Loom, and that list have been constantly updated in the PR as we confirm more tests are being fixed. For extended OpenJDK, I have opened a pull request which was merged today to exclude the failing serviceability test, which was newly added to the JTREG runnable. So far, there's about I think it was about 52 failures that we're aware of. Some of them were legacy, which I have labeled as backlog. There's others that are newly added test cases, which may be related to Loom that we still need to triage through. In terms of functionality, everything have been merged. If we go down, for the GC part, Lin have just merged the concurrent scavenger support. I'm not sure about metronome, whether that was resolved. Last week they have been merging it in, but then backing it out due to test and regressions. So if Alex on the call, he can give an update on that.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I guess, status. So concurrent scavenger is fully supported right now. We can even enable it if there's a option. I guess there's a way to add this to testing as well. Metronome internal testing showed some more problems, so it still needs some work. You know, we need at least one or possibly two more changes, and I guess another week or two of I guess work. You know. But metronome is partially covered with this change that we made yesterday. So, but there are problems. Yeah.
And from the JIT side, everything have been merged. They're just going through their own cycle of optimization and stuff. I don't have any update on JIT side. I suspect that we will be asking JIT support for some of the triaging for JTREG testing. I think that's it. Any questions?
For the JIT testing that you've done, have you run that on all platforms or just x86 Linux?
I've been running it on all platforms, but some of the failures seem intermittent depending on platform.
Okay. All right. So the stack, the invalid return address for the large stack, was that only seen on x86 then?
Nope. That one is seen on P and Arch 64 and X.
Okay.
But as mentioned, it is intermittent. I wasn't able to have it working on Mac, so it seems Mac is not part of the problem. And for 390 Linux, it doesn't seem to be a problem there either. I haven't seen it in my 2 runs on Grindr.
Okay. Let us know if you need help.
Yep. Thanks, Daryl.
Sorry, could I get the numbers for the JT-Reg tests?
So there's last time I checked, there's 104 failing, but it was duplicate because we were running it in under 2 labels. So there's a serviceability 1 and a serviceability 2. Sorry, a serviceability 0 and a serviceability 1. In total, the number of tests that were excluded, I think, is around 54.
Jack, does those also include the GVMTA ones which we won't support?
Yes.
Okay.
I have created, I think, 4 new issues on which exactly is the reason for excluding those. Some are excluded due to implementation differences. Some are excluded due to dependencies on particular stuff that we don't support having compile issue. And some are ones that we have not triaged but are legacy. So those were the ones that we've never run before, and I put them in backlog as we don't plan to have to go through those lists anytime soon. And there's also a 4th list that's dealing with ones that particularly test on virtual thread related.
So have we triaged them all?
No. I was only able to partially triage them, and for the ones that I confirmed we will not be excluding, I put it under the other PRs for permanent exclude.
So we've got 52 failing.
Yeah.
And how many do you think are still needed to be triaged? Or how many are being excluded? Do you know?
I think there's about 15 of them, but I will confirm.
15 to be triaged?
Yes.
13 being excluded.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 that need to be triaged that are related to Loom failures. But some of them may just need a permanent exclude and moved over to the other issue.
Do you have a number for how many be excluded, even if it's approximate?
I have excluded all of the failures, those 52 test cases.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other questions about Project Loom? Cheng, are you on the call?
Yeah.
You have the status for us?
Actually, there's no code changes because we already merged everything into the repo, and so far we checking all the JTRIC, disable the JTRIC test on all support platform. So far we clean up all the issues on PNIDs and move forward to the AX because there are also a couple of platform dependent issues on each platform. Yeah, so still working at it. That's it.
Have we thought about adding support for ZOS?
Toby, you there?
Yeah, so JDK 17 support and ZOS will have to come first before we can do that.
Makes sense.
I think
That's going to be my next question.
yeah, okay. I don't know, perhaps I don't know if Rahil's on the call, but I don't know if the linkage convention on ZOS differs much from ZLinux. If it doesn't, then all the upcall generation stuff should just work.
There is a difference between ZOS linkage and Z-Linux, so I think there is work to be done there.
Okay.
Once we have a build for 17, then we can start looking at that, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Does anybody have any updates for Adopt today? We can move on to machines.
Hey, sorry, I didn't get a chance to update this. We ran a 5-day shorter Artifactory cleanup one time, so because we were getting up to like 96%, so we're had enough to get us through the weekend. So it's back to this regular 25-day now. So keep an eye on it again. I don't think we have anything new to report on the Windows efforts for the replacements. And all the nodes are now running JDK 11, so that's complete. And I think the Linux stuff, I don't think there's an update on that.
Okay. Do we have Marius on the call? Let's see Marius.
Is at a conference this week.
So that takes us to CRIU. Toby?
Nothing too major to discuss. We're looking at environment requirements on both the J9 and Liberty side to see if there's any flexibility for us to drop Cent6, as that makes things a lot easier for us. If that isn't possible, there's some things we can do in the VM to basically handle cases where we are on a platform that won't have CRIU or can't have CRU.
So I was just looking at the symbols, the glibc symbols, and I don't see anything that would prevent Java 11 from running on Cent6. There's no glibc symbols higher than 2.11. So if we could link to CRIU, if we could look up the things we need dynamically instead of hard linking to them, we might be able to support piling on Cent7 and running on Cent6, unless CRIU wouldn't work. We'd have to try to load CRIU and then print an error or something that you can't use that feature. But
yeah, so I think CRU, based on my conversation with Violetta, CRU requires kernel level 3.1 or sorry, 3.10. And I believe that Cent 6.8, the latest version of Cent 6 is at 2.6. So I don't think CRU will work on Cent 6. My concern is mostly on the build environments, not so much running the test, because as you said, there is option to dynamically link those APIs. So yeah, if dropping 6 is not possible, I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're just not going to have those. We're just not going to statically link those symbols at all.
So I want to try two things. One is taking the Xlinux build and actually running it on Cent6 and making sure it starts, because I just looked at symbols, but it seemed like it would run. And then I want to grab a CRIU build and check the symbols and see what's in there that would cause us to not run, to not be able to start. So I can let you know how that turns out.
Should be able to point a compile at a Cent7 and then test at a Cent6. If we have machines left. I think we have Cent6 machines left outside.
But even if we don't have one, I can create one. We should have something.
Yeah, we have a container.
Doesn't need to be done outside either. I'll figure it out. It says next E build in October. Is that still accurate?
No, we're waiting on some security changes. So November 4th is the most accurate date.
Did you say 4? November 4th?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Don't think there's anything else to talk about for Mac M1.
No, other than I'm hoping to start to swap the compressed references stuff into my head this week, so we can maybe start moving forward on that.
Sounds good. Does anyone have any other business? Thanks, everyone.
Bye.